in Florida right now.
It's more remarkable.
It is. This is a shot from our Tampa station's helicopter of that frightening sinkhole in Florida.
You wake up in the middle of the night and your bedroom floor is giving way, suddenly falling really wall by wall this house into a sinkhole some 100 feet wide, 15 feet deep. And now one member of the family that lives in that modest home is trapped just as the sinkhole now expands even deeper into the ground.
The whole house, Josh, could collapse at any moment. Our reporter, Rob Munoz, from our Tampa station, WFTS, is there in Brandon, Florida, and has the latest on the rescue effort. What can you tell us, Rob?
Well, Rob, let me tell you, this whole neighborhood is on edge. This family on edge. This house literally on edge. Like you said, this home could go at any moment. This family about to put themselves to bed around 11 o'clock last night when the floor collapsed beneath them. They heard what sounded like a loud car crash, they said, and before they knew it, it's just a black hole in a bedroom. And where that 36-year-old nephew used to be, no more, just a black hole, they said, and they heard him screaming for help. They tried helping him out. They tried digging for him as the floor was collapsing. They could not get to him in time. A Hillsborough County Sheriff's deputy was actually able to come into, he was the first person to respond here, ran in there, actually dug one of the family members out, pulled him out by the arm, but this 36-year-old family member they were not able to get to. They heard him screaming about a few minutes after that, and right now engineering firms are out here wondering if they can hear this man, if he's anywhere below that rubble. Robin?
What a scene. All right, Rob Munoz from our Tampa station, WFTS, thank you so very much. And Sam, people want to know, how does this happen?
It happens a lot more than we think, Robin, and a lot more places than we believe. And what's most frightening about this is how sudden and instant it is. The ground is fine and there until it's not. So you're looking at pictures from Florida right now, and then we'll give you the ABC virtual view to kind of describe what's going on under the ground. So everything looks tranquil and peaceful right on top of the surface. But when you pull out away from the surface and get a side view, and by the way, the most likely states are Florida, Texas, Alabama, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Pennsylvania. And here's why. Because under the surface, there'll be a deposit of earth that is probably a soluble rock like salt or gypsum or maybe even limestone. Water gets in here, it can't really get out, and all of this dissolves. Now, then that water leaches away, the ground collapses. You never know the ground is going to collapse because for a long time, that ground will stay perfectly in place and then all of a sudden just give away. It can be just a few feet, it can be hundreds of acres that go suddenly just like that, and that's why this thing is so frightening. The area is most likely, again, it can also happen in construction areas where water's been pumped out of the ground as well. Robin, Josh?
Certainly terrifying, and again, we'll have updates as news warrants.
The Van Allen radiation belts, two giant swaths of radiation around Earth, were the first discovery of the space age in 1958. In August 2012, NASA launched the Van Allen probes to provide the most detailed picture of the belts ever seen. Within days of launch, the probes revealed a third never-before-seen ring of radiation that persisted for about a month. Scientists already knew the belts shrink and swell in response to incoming energy from the sun, but they don't know exactly how. The discovery of a new belt offers additional clues to map out the mysteries of the region and shows us that the first discovery of the space age can still surprise us.
We're offshore. We got a meteor shower coming in. It's breaking up.
Take a look at this cell phone video. Captain William Lowry was in his boat in the Freeport area around 3 Wednesday morning when he saw a meteor fly across the sky in a brilliant orange glow.
Nothing like this of this magnitude. Few shooting stars from time to time, but this approximately lasted 3 to 4 minutes.
The Russian meteor that exploded across the sky is prompting scientists to better identify large meteor and asteroid threats. A team at the University of Hawaii is working on the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, or ATLAS, with NASA.
Something that's, enough to do a regional disaster. Well, we are picking those up about a year ahead. We'd like to pick up something a tenth of that size with enough warning, maybe a week's warning, 2 weeks warning, so people will know to look for it, and if they really are in the way of it, they'll know to evacuate.
There's your picture of the giant sinkhole, one of them, that opens up in San Francisco. Wow. Heads up. Alright, this is the original audio. Supresta zona de impacto. Alright, check this out. This is something that I haven't seen yet from that day on February 15th. The meteorite. Well, here's another impact site from it. Check this out. This is an update. Here you go. Reminds me of War of the Worlds, the original one. Wow. So there's your update. That's the other meteorite picture. Even though there was one meteorite, it sure left a nice round hole there, and the other one was in the ice, remember? Let's see if we can find the one that was in the ice again. And there's another picture. I don't know if that's really the same place. Wow. Might be a different place. Oh yes. Alrighty then. My goodness. Let's play it.
На месте возможного падения небесного тела образовалась воронка полынья диаметром в несколько метров.
Yeah, that's a different place.
ГВД там собраны образцы черного твердого вещества, которые отправлены.
There it is again. Let's play it.
Кадрами, снятыми на берегу озера Чебаркуль, где предположительно и упал один из обломков. На месте возможного падения небесного тела образовалась воронка полынья диаметром в несколько метров. По данным областного ГВД, там собраны образцы черного.
Alright, so as you can see, that's not the same as the other thing that we saw. Look how that's pretty small compared to the other one. Wow. So perfectly round. Alrighty then. That's your head. That's a update on that meteorite. I'm just going to keep updating it. That's right. Till we get to the bottom of it. Live, this is One for the Record. I'm Diana, and today is March 2nd, 2013. And here are your news updates for today. It's very cold. I will be attaching a lot of news. I told you I'd find some of the updates for you. I'm also attaching an update about the Russian meteorite. I got some awesome pictures that are updated. Alright, from where it hit. Here we go. So stay tuned after the report. I am attaching Dr. Deagle's Thursday show first. And I'll probably attach his Friday show tomorrow, because it's taken me a long time to get it up onto YouTube. Alrighty then. If I can, I'll try. If it takes too long, then I'm just going to run the show, because it's getting late. Alrighty then. Let's first go to the Extinction Protocol 2012 and beyond. It's called 2012 and beyond. Alrighty then. Newly discovered comet may collide with Mars in 2014. Wow, okay. Earthquake causes light shaking in Dominican Republic. Beijing residents bemoan smog and sandstorms. Again, they're talking about the Florida man vanishes after being sucked into sinkhole under his bedroom. And I do have the footage for that. So, stay tuned. It's probably going to be at the beginning of this. So, you'll see that, but then Dr. Deagle will be after all this. Let's see. Alrighty then, let's move on to the watchers watching the world. Unexpectedly low solar activity. Double peak solar maximum suggested. 2 strong earthquakes, a magnitude 6.5 hit Kuril Islands. Okay, this is all from yesterday's news. Alrighty then, moving on. E&E News, the energy news. Fukushima, Japan. A little bit slow. Let's see here. Okay, today, Kyoto, high concentration of Fukushima radioactive substances found in land animals. Frog with 6,700 becquerels per kilogram outside evacuation zone. Also today, Japan official credits typhoons with helping spread Fukushima fallout. Also today, Fukushima cleanup workers break silence, ordered to dump debris into river. Government appeared not to believe him. Heads up! Heads up on the fish in the river now. To those that like to go fishing. Yesterday, lead architect of Microsoft Windows 95, something very much amiss in Fukushima, like an almost totalitarian state. People now saying, for the sake of my children's health, I'm not going to think about radiation. It's terrible. But we went over that yesterday, why they might say that. Alrighty then. Yesterday, new flyover, a giant sinkhole, dirt road around area complete. Also yesterday, top economists. Nuclear power is over. Frankly, I think from a business perspective, it's over. I think it's over. Here's the situation. And I couldn't get the video on that one. But I got a lot of other videos for you. Alrighty then. Let's get back to the screen. So, it's one day down to the weekend, and one more to go. Please be safe, be prepared for anything, and stay tuned. At least you'll see Thursday's show, the preparedness show. And he has a lot of earth changes in that one, so that's why I'm running it. Alrighty then, take care, and I'll see you on the flip side tomorrow. Be safe. Alrighty then. Ciao for now.
welcome back to the Nutrimedical Report. And joining us every Thursday, and of course other days, popping in with emergency reports, Tim Alexander, our anchor for the live stream TV channel. Number 4, stop the illegal use of combat drones. Especially they're planning to ramp them up, so in 2 years they'll be here with weapons on them. Number 5, call for the closure of U.S.
already has drones that are insect-sized that can kill. Senator Rand Paul has now sent 3 letters to the new CIA director specifically demanding that he answer the question, do you intend to use drones in the United States against American citizens, and do you claim to have the legal authority to do that without a trial, jury, etc., and to assassinate Americans on American soil? And they will not answer his letters. They will not give a clear answer to those questions that Congress has asked. Why? Because basically they claim the power and authority, and they don't want to have to go on record as saying it, and they certainly don't intend to go on record as reputing that authority. And
by the way,
think about that. Think about that, because if you're talking about 20 or 30 or 40,000 or more drones, you're talking about setting up a high-tech police state where anytime, either in your house or outside, you can be wiped out by a government drone.
Now, there's one of these, I think, that I disagree with in number 6, call for disarmament of all nuclear weapons.
Well,
that's not going to be done unless Jesus Christ comes back. You disarm and you're just like walking into a gang area and waiting to get slaughtered. No.
What a beautiful world this will be. What a glorious time to be free. What a beautiful world this will be. What a glorious time to be free.
We're back with now Chris Harris talking about the nuclear watchdog noisy task to scrap Fukushima reactor safely. I haven't read all the article, but I had a quick look at it. And Chris, give us a summary of what this means. And then we'll talk about real solutions that should be done if they're listening. They should take notes, and then we'll start doing some of this stuff.
Well, I guess there's a lot of scientists in Japan saying pretty much what we've been saying for a long time now, that you can't call Fukushima a stable plant. You can't call the condition cold shutdown, because cold shutdown doesn't really exist for that kind of.
This is a nuclear waste disaster site that is a permanent scar on the planet Earth and will be for millions of years.
It certainly can be that way for. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to certainly say within the next decades. I'm going to say.
Well, we can change the timeline if we start implementing technology, even what we know now. But looking at this article, to me, it's just a flaccid, gutless excuse to not do anything. And we're going to repeat the list of things that we talked about. And a lot of these ideas are yours. We need a corium catcher. We can tunnel underneath them and take depleted uranium containers and make a corium catcher. We need a seawall to catch the water and filter it out into solid nuclear waste. We need Kevlar spider-soaked tents over every facility. Don't build a solid structure, build a tent. Filter out the air and turn the nuclear waste and radioisotopes to solid waste and transport it. Don't dilute it with water and then pump it out in the ocean saying, geez, we got 100 million tons of highly radioactive water that's now seeping into the groundwater table. Then they need to track down with ground-penetrating radar all the steam jets going out to the ocean floor into the land. We now know that even tunnels in northern Tokyo itself, or Tokyo outskirts, have got radioisotopes that have seeped all the way from Fukushima Daiichi. So covering many, many kilometers have gotten into the tunnels and into the fault lines of the area. They haven't done anything to literally remediate the issue that if there's a 7-level earthquake, whatever instability, including subduction and subsidence that's occurring with these buildings, is going to completely crash and burn. And we have bursts of radiation continuously. They're losing, the worst possible thing is they're losing all the workers that even know what the plant looked like before it got degraded. So of the list of things that I've given here that you and I have talked about, and I've talked to Aaron Gunderson and other nuclear experts, but a lot of these are yours, Chrissy, they have done nothing. If I was a professor and I was grading their paper and this is what they told me they were going to do, I'd give them not a 0, I'd give them a minus 100.
Well, I guess,
so they would have to go back to grade school?
Yeah, no, what happens is we'll have to remove their brain and put it back in something that actually works. Because this is such
my question, guys. You two are quite brilliant on this, but you're not the only brilliant people on Earth, and surely in Japan there are many brilliant nuclear scientists. Now, know and I know they have to have some knowledge of this kind of stuff, and they hear what we say, and the point is they have done nothing. And yes, I realize there was a nuclear weapons facility there, but even with hiding that, why
they said they can't send in workers.
Hands for 2 years?
They said they sent in workers. They're doing what we call a faux skeleton around these facilities and a crane. They can't remove bent fuel rod assembly bundles. What they need to do is use what's called either cabled robots that are radiation resistant, or IEEE Atmel Corporation ferromagnetic chip deep space type robots, which we have in classified black ops projects for deep space exploration that can stand cosmic background radiation, etc., and gamma rays. The fact is we don't do anything that involves classified technology because we don't give a damn about the Japanese or the fact that if a major superquake hits their 7 or above, we're going to get bathed in radiation levels that will far exceed a nuclear war. And the fact is, though, the Japanese we're really asking for it. In fact, I told the story to Steve Dannon, the assistant for Representative Congressman Darrell Issa yesterday, of how bad things are. And we're going to connect him with Chris Harris, that's his radio name, of course, and to get these documents to show that they're trying to evade even proper relicensure to make sure they don't start this no-freight plant. But we're not doing anything now that we've found new ways that plants can break down with similar technology to Japan, including hydrogen explosions, criticality, loss of blackout power causing the loss of containment of the nuclear isotopes and massive radiation release. We have literally not learned anything or changed our behavior in North America at one iota. We are beyond dumbass. This is just craziness.
Well, concerning that, I thought we had a good talk, Dr. Bill, before the program, and trying to explore why it would be this way. And really, I think you said it came down to the bean counters and greed. And, Oh,
yeah. But the thing is, it doesn't even make sense. So we talked about this before the show. The real issue, and I'm the only one I know in any media anywhere in the world that's saying this, and I've known this for over 40 years when I was an environmental scientist before I went into medicine 40 years ago. The biggest issue that's going to strike our world in sometime this century is peak oxygen. Not CO2. CO2, good. Oxygen, really important. If you lose your oxygen concentration or it drops below a critical level, you have no ozone layer to protect your plants on Earth and the phytoplankton in the upper benthic layer of the oceans from taking carbon dioxide and turning it back into oxygen. And if you kill those plants because you get UV strobing from a super flare of the sun, and when the ozone layer is thin because you need three things: ultraviolet light, a magnetosphere which is weakening, and oxygen. And you can go with an oxygen meter to big cities like Sao Paulo, Brazil, and other major cities, and you'll see oxygen concentration as low as 11, 12, 13, 14%. And when you get levels like that, it's like you're not at sea level anymore, you're at 16,000 feet. And when you get hypoxia, the first thing you lose is your frontal lobes and your executive function. You turn people into zombies. Now, that's what's going to happen if we continue to kill the oceans. If we move into an ice age, it'll even accelerate it faster because we'll continue to consume energy using abiotic fuel. And I've calculated out the amount of oxygen that will be consumed if they just use the tar pits and the oil fields of Venezuela. And if they just burn all those off in 6 months, the concentration of oxygen on the Earth will drop to a critical level. It'll kill every oxygen-consuming mammal and animal on Earth. Every single one. Right down to insects. And people don't grasp this. They don't realize you can't continue chewing up the oxygen.
The only entity that I can think would be interested in doing something like that is literally Lucifer.
Right. And here's the thing: is there's an oxygen-carbon cycle. There's some stretch. If you slowly put out more carbon dioxide, there's a delay and a gradual increase in temperature that happens because it has a little greenhouse effect, but it's minor. The biggest thing driving temperature is sunspot activity and the distance to the sun, and how much rainfall, which actually acts as a radiator to cool the Earth. If you move into an ice age and you're actually getting the less oxygen carbon cycle, and you're still putting out tons of carbon dioxide, and you don't have the benthic layer of the oceans because now you've got a coronal mass ejection or you've got a major kill of the ocean phytoplankton, and you're still using tons of abiotic fuel, we have to have a nuclear future, whether it's fusion reactors like the tokamak ones we talk, pebble bed reactors. Safe nuclear has to be in our future. People get all ticked off when I say that, but we have to be able to safely move radioactive isotopes to safe storage facilities not on site. That's crazy. All the old technology needs to go, and the industry is going to kill itself if it doesn't listen to what I'm saying. And the problem is the population thinks we just need to go into the Bakken and all these places and hydrofrack like crazy. The latest National Geographic is a perfect example. Hydrofracking with toxic chemicals is nuts. It's crazy. If you're going to hydrofrack, use microwave and other technologies, not using chemicals. You can't go in areas or pull the water table directly away from the roots of trees or they all die and the animals shrivel up. Yes, there's lots of places where you can get gasified coal and other ways to get energy, and we can branch over the next 20, 30, 40 years from abiotic fuels, and we'll always need hydrocarbons to make plastics and chemicals. But if you rely as your primary energy source oxygen from little phytoplankton in the upper 30 meters of the ocean, 30 feet of the ocean, and the trees in the arboreal forest, and you continue to poison the oceans and chop down the trees, guess what? You can't take out the lungs of the planet and expect to be able to breathe. Bye-bye, Earth. Because I told them what was going to happen because I worked up there. Welcome back to the Nutrimedical Report. Chris, I want to hear your feedback on that. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission says together, new commissioner is doing squat. I mean, it's just one obscene thing after another. There's no plan to stabilize America from extreme weather, from station blackouts, which now can cause critical loss of radiation containment, such as happened at San Onofre that caused the radiation to surge for 4 to 5 days at 4 to 5 times background. I'm just appalled at how incompetent the so-called regulatory authorities are, and how they're only interested in short-term profits when even the nuclear industry is like they got an elephant gun aimed at both feet. Are they crazy? Do they understand if they have any more disasters, like in Japan, they're trying to shut down everything? And the reason why Japan continues, by the way, all these nuclear reactors isn't because they love nuclear, because it's stupid to put them there. They could exist in geothermal. It's a deal with the Americans to arm the Japanese to the teeth with nuclear weapons, to put a nuclear gun at the neck of China. China and Russia, including Vladivostok and Siberia, are having a nuclear gun to their neck from the Japanese because they're the third nuclear power, not Israel, Japan. And people need to grasp this, that the Fukushima Daiichi was a unveiling by God to say, I'm going to send an earthquake there, and you people are going to find out that the Japanese were doing a MOX fuel enrichment facility there at Fukushima Daiichi in plant number 3. They were making plutonium detonators for nuclear warheads.
Of course they were.
Yeah, I guess in the planning stage, I guess we need more and better. I mean, that was certainly I've had a manager that said to me, well, it's not good enough yet. We need more of what you're doing, and we need better. And that's for the planning for any kind of an event like that in the United States. But not only in the United States, we know from Fukushima that anything that happens is actually a global event. And I hate to use the word global event.
Let me give you a couple of things that can be done for early warning. Number one, we have satellite-based information from the Japanese electromagnetic monitoring satellite that can see the change in the torsion field or the flux lines of the Earth's geomagnetic sphere. Number two, you can use cryptochromes, which are live molecules that will sense the torsion field, and you can translate that into a torsion field sensor machine that can pick up even before the piezoelectric current crosses the fault lines, which you can also measure to show you that there's an increase in piezoelectricity occurring before it built up enough energy to hit what's called a slip threshold. Number 5, you can hear subsonic vibrations, which occur long before you have a full earthquake, and then you can use noise-canceling technology based on the frequency of those to create noise-canceling frequencies to lock up the fault lines areas or to make them slip smoothly and slowly so they don't have a massive release all in one great big chunk, which is why they're damaging and dangerous. Because most of the San Andreas fault slides nice and smooth, so many centimeters, I think it's like 40 or 50 millimeters per year. It's when it locks up that you get big problems, and it's worse at the surface because 4 or 5 miles down, it doesn't do anything. Okay, so we know what causes earthquakes. We don't have people to think out of the box, developing technology to warn people in advance, whether they're in big buildings. I mean, the stupid warning system they're talking about now, even for California, is to give you warnings to get away from the windows. I mean, that's not very damned useful there, people. This is not a B movie. This is reality. We don't people chucked out of windows at 30 floors up in Los Angeles, or with buildings falling over like skyscrapers, because they're going to have an upthrust zone where it'll move a meter to a meter and a half. I mean, this is beyond stupid. And the problem is that the academic institutions don't turn out people that can think beyond their nose, or the academic superiors that would bunk them on the head if they think beyond the box, because they wouldn't get their master's or PhD degree if they raise questions that the professors can't answer. That's the problem. That's why people like Leonardo da Vinci, Einstein, any great scientist always taught his students to ask better questions.